what I'm curious about is if any of your kind of family values, considering the heritage of entrepreneurship, like kind of what those were, and they don't have to have been stated, but like, are there particular philosophies
Oh, for
or
sure.
values,
Yes,
you know?
absolutely. And I
Yeah.
don't think it was something that anyone put words to, but it was something that was actioned
Yep.
consistently throughout my life, and that is quality and craftsmanship. I mean,
Mm.
100%. I can remember being a little kid and all my other friends were eating Chef Boyardee, and I wanted Chef Boyardee so badly. And my
You weren't getting any,
no,
what are they called? Lunchables, snackables,
no,
whatever those were. No
oh,
lunch.
absolutely not. No, my dad was curing his own, was curing his own meats, was making his own salami, was making his own pasta. And so it was very much this, with both within my house, but then also within the larger community. Like Napa Valley is this place filled with these incredible people who really have this like very deep passion for quality and craftsmanship.
Yep.
It's what really informed my ideas around luxury. And so when I had this realization that, again, I said that I was the person buying expensive skincare, not expensive bags. And
Yep.
when I had the realization that this expensive skincare I was buying was really anything but luxury, was when I started thinking about Vintner's Daughter.
Yep.
I recognized that these products, they were $300 products, insanely expensive. And there was no quality and craftsmanship that was going into them, right? It was
Yep.
all packaging.
Packaging.
And for me, growing up in this place where what was in the bottle is what mattered most, right? And with winemaking, you have this kind of like further level of consideration that you're trying to create something that's going to get better as time
Yep.
goes on, right?
Yep. Well, you literally have people like rating and scoring you, right? Like, do you get 96 points? Do you get like, there's nobody doing that really in these markets, right? It wasn't how consumers were making decisions. It wasn't based on quality.
Oh, well, I would argue that the point system is not necessarily.
Well, I didn't mean, that sounds like a sensitive subject in Napa Valley. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. I will just say this. I mean, maybe it is a sensitive thing. Maybe it's not. We don't participate in it. So I actually,
Okay.
I think for many people, they live by the sword and they die by the sword, right? So
Yep.
we're very lucky that we don't participate in it. And we've always sort of stood outside of it, which is, we're grateful for that. But what that is that you have one person or two people or even three people who are dictating the taste and the flavor profiles for every single wine drinker. I mean, that just isn't.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's way too much power for any one person to wield to create any kind of healthy ecosystem for any industry, right? But anyway, yeah. I mean, so back to the family values, I would say, quality and craftsmanship, absolutely.
Yep. Totally.
Were infused into everything we did.
Is there, something else that's interesting about that to me, right? There's a quality and craftsmanship, which is a big part of it. It also seems like focus is like a really big part of it, right? So like, being intensely focused, both from like a business perspective, but also from a life perspective. Like your grandfather, yeah, of course he loves fishing and he does that, but that's like a really important like value, right? Like that's a demonstration of values to the family. Like, hey, yes, business is important, making money is important, but like doing the things that you love.
Quality of life.
Yeah, quality of life is a big deal.
Yeah.
Is that something you feel like has kind of continued on, through the family as an important component?
I think it is. And I think the way that it kind of sees itself in Vintner's Daughter is that like I'm not building a scale and sale company, right?
Yep.
It's not what I want to build. I want to build a company that has an extraordinarily positive impact on our customers' skin and their lives and our world.
Yeah.
And we take that very seriously, and that's what drives us. Yes, do we have to be profitable? Yes. Do we have to like have, revenue and growth and all the things? Yes. But I think, in the same way that my grandfather wasn't like living to breathe oxygen, like he was breathing oxygen so that he could go, or he was making money so that he could go fish. Like he wasn't he wasn't living to make money. He was doing that to go that he so he could go pursue his, whatever his Valhalla was. And for us,
Yeah.
I think it's a similar thing. I'm here because I want to make this incredible impact on people's skin, and not, again, like really just kind of scaling and selling a company.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's hard, I think, when you're in that. I think there's two things, right? So one, it's hard because there's something that's very rewarding um, about achievements, money, right? It's a recognition. It's a way to like validate, like, oh, my hard work resulted in something, right? As well as it's really hard from a confidence perspective, right? You have to be confident that that it's going to be enough, right? Which I think is hard for some people, validly so. And so it's just really cool. It's really cool that you guys have been able to find that balance and do it through this kind of craftsmanship and quality thing, right? Like we're going to do a smaller number of things way better, right? And we know that that's going to be the best way to do it, right?
To your point, when you see everything around you is being rewarded for far different they're like, it's almost like everyone else is playing a different game, right?
Yep.
The rewards and the metrics are just completely different than the game that you want to play. Like sometimes I just have to put blinders on because
Yep.
it's it can kind of erode that confidence in some ways, and make it feel like, oh man, everybody else is doing that. Should I be doing that? That looks much like that. Just looks like very clear cut. It looks pretty easy. I just put out a new product every 2 weeks, and
Yep.
like, that doesn't feel like that would be that. I mean, work, but you're following a playbook. I'm like creating this whole new playbook over here, right? And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I mean, there are days that are harder than others, Connor, for sure.